Last time I reviewed one of the 86 Constructicons, I didn't reveal till it was just about over that figure was actually a retool of the Combiner Wars one for dramatic effect. And while I think that added an interesting moment to that episode, I do realize that there was something minorly lost by not comparing the two more directly throughout the video. I mean, even if it weren't true that the newer figure was just a copy-paste of the old one, it would be an interesting counterpoint to see how far they've come in the basically decade since CW came out. Which, it turns out, is basically nowhere. Hell, they may have actually gone backwards. It's 86 Bonecrusher. But first, your likes! Please give, and maybe subscribe. Also, it's like 3 weeks to the 5-year anniversary, so if you can share these videos and help me out, really push for a strong end to the year for my channel, I would hugely appreciate it. And anyways, guys, you gotta admit when you're wrong. And when I surmised that the 86 Bonecrusher was going to be a downscaled retool of the CW one, I was wrong. Well, the head is a flat downscale of the Combiner Wars one, but the rest of the figure is really more of the same concepts executed in a new way. And arguably infinitely worse one, I mean, this is unbearable shit, but it's at least not mind-numbingly lazy like the Scrapper was. And a quick reminder, my copies of the Combiner Wars Constructicons are from the half-scaled knockoff. So one, the fact that these are actually coming out on top is insanely insulting, and two, the original versions of these would have been like 40% bigger than the 86 ones, so yes, this is comparatively downscaled. And I mean, what can I say about this that you can't see with your own eyes? This looks horrendous, especially when you compare it to the older figure. He's squat and fat, no part of his build is cool looking, his shoulders are in entirely the wrong places, and his arms are stubby. So prepare your eyes for glory as I try to recreate what this looks like to me. I hope you appreciate the dumbest thing I've ever done for this channel, because it was necessary to demonstrate just how horrendously stupid looking this piece of crap is. And again, this is deeply similar to the Combiner Wars figure, basically taking all the same ideas and just executing them differently. So Hasbro, how did you do them all wrong? The original figure looks lithe and swole. He has a waist and a muscular chest, clearly defined hips, and arms that look like they fit on his body. Here, he's just a single sad, flabby mass. I can't even say that he looks like a version of this dude who needs to lay off the border, because he ain't chonky, he's built alternatively. And by that, I mean wrong. You know your hands are supposed to go down past your hips, right? And look, I'm not someone who hates on ball joints. I think they do some good and useful things. They still make tons of sense for Legends figures or shoulder joints, hips, and knees. They can all work out. But why the fuck are they sitting on the fronts of this dude's gappy-ass forearms? This is ugly. This is ugly. This is really ugly. You guys seriously couldn't have put the tabs on the hands and the ports in the backs of the biceps? Why have you seemingly prioritized the back looking cleaner than the front? Or were we not supposed to notice the fact that there are ports on the front of one of the legs? Did you just go, oh, this dude's such an ugly chud, no one will care? Yes, the CW version also had the ball joints in his elbows, but one, that figure is from 10 years ago. Two, they hid it way better by casting that part in black. Three, they don't have the unnecessary gaps plastered all over them. Four, they've painted the thing way better. And five, they made the smart decision and put the gaps on the back of the figure. Sure, it'd be great if there were no gaps at all, but why would you make the decision to have the front angle be the worst one? Actually, that's probably his profile, but the front is still extremely bad. Like, this new thing is so phoned in, and how I first discovered that was insane. You see, this figure does not come fully assembled out of the box. You have to slide the backpack on yourself. And I have to ask, why? Why was that not already done for us? There is nothing in the box geometry-wise preventing that from fitting if Hasbro just attached it themselves. Is it literally just there to try and trick us into thinking that this has more accessories than it does? Like, yeah, it's a super basic deluxe that sucks in every way, but it does also come with a black plastic cube, so it's all worth it. But no, that's not the part that truly pisses me off. You see, this part is not keyed. Why is it not keyed? I don't know, because they didn't give a fuck? It would have cost no more plastic and no more tooling. So I opened this up, got this part out, thought nothing of it, went to slip it on. It turned out I put it on backwards, and I went, okay, no big deal, I'll just take it off and put it back on the right way. At which point I discovered, no, big deal, big fucking deal. Somehow the two parts had like fused to each other, and I'm not joking, after about 20 minutes of trying to get it to come off with my hands, leaving indents in my palms from how hard I was pressing, I just went and grabbed a fucking hammer. And I didn't just have to tap this thing off lightly, I had to do for real swings with it. Not like for the fences, but I was putting in more than a little oomph to knock that part off. This was about as movable as if this version of Bonecrusher sat on it. I didn't need the wedge this time, but am I just cursed to have to use a hammer on every set of Constructicons? And you would not believe the amount of shit I got on Twitter when I posted about this problem by the Hasbro's not capable of making mistakes for the universe to make sense crowd. I got so many, you should have just used the directions, moron. Okay, shut up. You're lying. I know that you are, because I have more faith in your intelligence than to think that you went, oh my god, a part that can go on one of two ways? I need the directions, I can't figure this shit out. No one used the directions for this. You are full of shit. You just need me to have been wrong. If a binary scares you so much that you need directions before you approach it, you probably can't even type your own name. And no, you wouldn't do that because you'd be afraid of the part sticking like what happened with me. No one would ever expect that a part that just slides on with no difficulty would have this much trouble coming back off, unless someone warned you ahead of time about this problem. I've talked to some people who say that they did it wrong and theirs came off just as easily as it went on. And I've talked to a lot of people who said that they had my exact same issue. But the simple fact of the matter is, it shouldn't have been possible to run into this issue because it should have already already been attached in the box, and if it wasn't, it should have been keyed so it can't go wrong. To blame the consumer for this problem is cope. Don't base your identity on the billion-dollar company who is trying to get as much money out of you while giving you as little in return as possible being right. Like, how lazy did they have to be to fuck up something this simple? The QC isn't even good. The knees are way too hard to unlock, limiting their posing, while there is nothing holding the shoulders up, so rotating the elbows untransforms him. But it wouldn't matter if this thing felt good when there are issues this bad and it's this ugly. Hell, the one part of this that actually looks good doesn't even count because it was ripped off from a different figure. You can tell that this is the exact same head from the Combiner Wars one because it even has the slightly more tilted down right corner of the mouth that thing had. The best part of this figure was drag and drop. And yeah, this is fine, but it's not like it really gets any credit for this. Great job, guys. The part that you stole didn't suck as bad as the rest. A lot of people are trying to be more diplomatic about this, saying that it has a charm to it, or that it's really not that bad. You know I'm not one of those people. This robot mode is a travesty. It's ugly, it's built wrong, it doesn't feel like the character, it's low effort. The only nice thing I can say about this is that they did at least not rip the engineering wholesale off from the CW figure like Scrapper did. And even still, it's all the same concepts executed in a slightly different way. Then for accessories, I'm not covering his cube. That is not an accessory. He has a gun. It's different than Scrapper's, but we know that the other Limbots are coming with the same guns, because they couldn't even be fucked to give every figure on this team a unique blaster. And then you get to the Posability, and it's somehow also worse than the decade-old figure. Head rotates, has a good bit of up and down, which you can cheat for a good bit more. Old figure has rotation, side to side, and then you have to cheat it more to get the same level of down. 90 shoulders on the new guy, 90 shoulders on the old guy with forwards butterflies. 1 degree more than 90 elbows on the new guy, maximum elbows on the CW. No wrists, no wrists, no waist, no waist. This is not acceptable on a modern figure, you assholes. You can cry all you want about how the design wouldn't allow for one, but you could have put one onto the older figure. Instead, you chose to change the engineering here to make that both impossible and make him look fatter for no reason. And with the wrists, there are no excuses. There's nothing preventing you. You just didn't do it because you didn't want to. Hips are unimpeded in all directions. Hips are even less impeded in all directions. Normal 90 knees, like 1 degree less than 90 knees, which might be a manufacturing error on my copy. Feet with a serious ankle tilt, and feet with an even deeper ankle tilt. What the fuck, guys? How is it that the decade newer figure is still this outclassed? Almost every joint is missing at least a dozen degrees of range compared to the older figure, if not significantly more, with the one exception being the single degree advantage in the knees. He wound up uglier, fatter, and lamer than ever, and he still can't move as well. The only place I can't call this a complete downgrade is the transformation, which is going through the same motions. It's doing the same ideas in a slightly different order, seemingly just to be different for the sake of it. Like, these are the same elbows between the two of them, it's just on the 86 figure they ruined them by flipping them backwards, thus reducing the range they are capable of in robot mode solely for the sake of changing it. And then the alt mode is a massive downgrade. I cannot stress this enough. Why have you done this? You made the robot mode look way fatter than it's supposed to, so the alt mode could look way fatter than it's supposed to. This is not what Bonecrusher looks like, but it had to be this big because the arms were overinflated so it all lines up this way. Or maybe the arms were only so flabby because they wanted the chest to be this bulky in this mode, but why? It's not the way he looked in robot mode, it's not the way he looked in alt mode, and it's not the way that he looked in combined mode. Meanwhile, the Combiner Wars one was still too bulky, but despite the fact that the figure intentionally made itself look like a more modern, more realistic version of the vehicle, it still wound up looking way more like it's supposed to. The whole alt mode is like 30% taller than it's supposed to be, and somehow it's also shittier quality than the knockoff. This holds together in every way that it's supposed to perfectly fine. This I can't get to go together how it's supposed to no matter what. I squish everything where it goes, and it all just flexes back out of place the moment I take my hands away. And this even looks worse as a bicep because they didn't force feed Scavenger all the Energon and Iacon. So now the combined mode has one arm that looks like it's supposed to, and one arm that's clearly his masturbating arm. Also, the head is way more visible here no matter what you do, and I can't tell if they did this on purpose so you can do this dumb little thing, but I still award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Also, this doesn't have wheels. The ones on the knockoff are fused and don't work because it cost literally less than a ham sandwich, but you assholes seriously engineered out the ability to roll? This is a complete disaster of a figure, a catastrophic series of bad ideas and bad executions. I can't even say that the ambition to put more effort into redesigning this than Scrapper was a good idea. Every part they changed for the sake of not just copy-pasting it, they made not a bit worse, not noticeably worse, not even a lot worse, massively worse. It's an uglier, more hideously inaccurate, less posing, worse quality controlled, lazy failure. How is it that the knockoff that was $40 for 6 figures actually holds together better than this? It is a figure, a third the price, that is doing literally every aspect better. An okay transformation does not save this absolute unwashed ass rag of a figure. I know this thing doesn't deserve an F ranking, even though I want to give it one so badly, but this is a D- figure. There is not even one aspect this thing does good enough to be called average, save for the transformation, which is really basic and boring when all is said and done. I'm not going to lie, I think that you should avoid the 86 Devastator like the plague. They are phoning it in as hard as they can. And yeah, I'm going to try and incorporate letter grades to the ends of my reviews from now on. On Twitter, I gave my last year of figure reviews letter grades to demonstrate that a lot of what I say is more nuanced than it might seem like, and for some reason, that never even crossed my mind to be something to add to the video, till I was asked why I'm not doing that on Discord. Quite frankly, it's because I'm very stupid, but I'll try to do it going forwards. And before we go, let's thank a channel backer. And this time it's Adam Somidus, with Legacy Armada Megatron, and I feel like this figure comes up on the wheel often, which is deserved because it's extremely good. It's not quite one of those hand candy figures, but it does border on that feeling, just very nice to handle thanks to the plastic, the big chunky parts, and the QC. It looks great, the posing could be a smidge better, but it's not bad at all, and there's still plenty of really fun gimmicks. Sure, it can't compare to the original's 1,000,001 spring-loaded launchers and grabbers and what have you, but for a modern update, this is everything that you could hope for. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So, if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.